Hello, I'm Leanne Meier, and this is Once a Nurse, the original. I'm so happy to be here today. Every day that I can do a podcast is a wonderful day. This day is especially important because I feel like everyone in healthcare is struggling and running around trying to find what the answers are to the craziness that's happening in healthcare and the craziness that's happening within people who are providing healthcare. I think that what I love the most about my guest for today is that's what she does, is help people go to the place of most resilience, power, wisdom, and answers. And that always ends up being within us. So I want to do just a really quick introduction here. Um, I will save her name for just a little bit so we can bring her in. My guest is an integrative mind body medicine transformational trainer. And she found a home in integrative quantum medicine where science and spirituality align. She blended her doctorate in naturopathy with expertise in multiple healing modalities and then began training that. So now she is the founder of Bolen Health Institute, an international institute where she finds healers in 4 different professional designations and then allows for their rapid personal growth and transformation. And I've had personal experience with that. So I'd like to bring in my friend and colleague, Dr. Elizabeth Bolen. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
I am too. I've been, we started doing these podcasts in preparation for the Power Up Nursing a few months ago. And I kept thinking, when can I have Liz on? When can I have Liz on? So I'm going to turn off my phone. I thought I had done that before. So welcome. What I like to have everybody do when they start out is I like you to tell your story about who you are and what this is that you're presenting, both at the Power Up Nursing, but also what you are doing in the training. You are really making inroads with people all over, for sure. Well, more than one country. You're in Canada, so United States, Canada, and I'm guessing lots of other places too.
Yeah, so I work with people in over 45 different countries around the world. And so do all of my practitioners and all of the people I have worked with. They have a global practice nowadays. And they really get to have their people shine and connect with them. And my story is essentially like a lot of other healers. I went into healthcare because I needed to heal me.
Yes.
Like, plain and simple. It's really about me. And I grew up with a sick older brother since he was about 2. And nothing was working in traditional medicine. And he just kept having more and more issues. At one point, he was on 30 different medications and wasn't getting any better. So, and my brother is almost a decade older than I am. So I saw it from a really young age. And I had made a decision right then and there that I wanted to make a difference with him. And I was going to be a doctor. And it wasn't until my own health crisis where a traditional medical system failed me, where I felt like I was abandoned, where they didn't know what to do with me and they kind of wrote me off. I wasn't bad enough to go to specialists and I wasn't well. And they went, well, what are we going to do? And I didn't like that. So I found a naturopath and she changed my life. So I went down that route. I did my doctorate in naturopathy, so I became a naturopathic doctor, and it was amazing. I learned things I'd never heard of before. I learned how to work with the body in a whole different way, in a whole bunch of different modalities. And eventually that stopped working too, because I had anxiety. I had complex PTSD since I was about 7. So everything stopped managing. And I was too scared to leave my house, and I wasn't safe within my house. Mm-hmm. And something was going to change because I refused to live like that anymore. I lived like that for so many years and I was done. So I did a Hail Mary Google search and typed in what I thought was voodoo, and I typed in hypnotherapy. And through divine intervention, I swear, because they didn't advertise whatsoever, the very first person on Google was the coach.
Okay.
So I went to her. She had a clinical psychology background. She knew a bunch of counseling, and she made me a guarantee. She goes, I can help you get rid of your anxiety attacks for the rest of your life. Well, I didn't know what she took. I wanted some because I didn't believe it. And I went, what do I have to lose? So I went through. I went through my own personal transformation and learned that I can't bypass me.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you go through, it doesn't matter if you're going through traditional medicine or you're going through alternative medicine, in whichever way healing modality you're working with, your focus is others.
Yeah.
You become second.
Well, in
You're
fact, you are not able to have any kind of problems, difficulties, questions, anxieties, because that would undermine the um, uh, confidence that your patient would have in you.
Of course, you must put on that mask. You must put on that perfection that I know it all, that I'm not learning. Like I'm flat out, I know everything because I went through it, even though every physician and nurse goes, no, okay. I'm going to look at that on the other side and just pretend in front of the patient.
Yeah.
That next part of my journey into integrative quantum medicine or integrative mind body medicine, I use them interchangeably, opened my eyes that I was living inauthentically, that I actually, without doing my own work, was limiting what I could do for others anyways. Mm-hmm. So it shifted the paradigm, and it also gave me back my power because I wasn't looking for everything else outside of me.
Yeah.
I was in control because I was in control of me. And I learned how to go deeper. I learned how to actually figure out answers to heal myself and learn how to show up different so I could go get what I want rather than waiting for it, rather it being a supplement or a medication or even acupuncture.
Or somebody to do work on you, exactly. Hands-on work, physical work. Yeah.
And it gave you back this like amazing sense of power and honestly a massive relief.
Mm-hmm.
Because it means that you always can do it.
And you don't have to be perfect because, one, there is no such thing. I met somebody in my probably mid-30s somewhere at a women's group. And it had started out as women who were trying to recover from alcoholism and other isms. And one woman stood up and gave her talk about herself. And she said that she was practicing to be imperfect. And I thought that was the most incredibly stupid thing to say, because of course everyone is working toward perfectionism, including myself. It never occurred to me that we're the only one we fool when we're doing that. Everyone else gets it. That, it's so anyway, it comes back to the things that you're talking about, about it all starting with ourselves. This goes back probably to the caves, that far back, where people had some sense of who they were, because who else were they going to be? And it seems like over time that's all changed. We have to relearn it. So it seems like to me that is what you are now able to do because of the journey you took. And the fact, what I love about you is that you are not telling anybody else what their journey is. You are listening. And then what I said in the introduction, you are allowing people to find their own space of what is meaningful inside their own heart. And of course, that's the only thing that works, because you can tell them all the most wonderful things in the world, but if it didn't come from their heart, their head, their life, it doesn't stick.
No, it bounces off of their entire self of identity.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, thank you. And then they reject it.
Yeah.
So it's that self-discovery process.
Go back to the hypnosis. I think there are a lot of people that would agree with your original concept that this is voodoo, and I'm really insane to be typing this in. You and I met I don't know exactly how you found me, and somehow or another you had a sense that you really wanted me to do this, and I could not for the life of me figure out why. So talk about hypnosis, what it was for you and what you do for others.
So when I went through my process, hypnosis really allowed me to gain clarity. Now, people always say they want to be happy, healthy, wealthy, an amazing, passionate relationship, right? Wise, everything. Just insert what you want, if you can name it. And they have no idea what to do about it.
And the answers must be out there somewhere.
Right? I have to ask that person what their version of happiness is. I have to ask that person what their version of what healthy is in their life. And you're still left at the end of the day in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
So through hypnosis, you actually get a lot of clarity about yourself.
Yeah.
And what allows you to show up happy, healthy, vibrant, authentic, because you did the self-work. It's a process that leads you down using your unconscious mind to figure out what you need. And then it helps you to install the behaviors to make this sustained change. So I said some very interesting stuff here. So
Yeah.
it's focus on what you want and what you need. It's 10,000 times more focus on those, which is powerful. Then it helps you do the behaviors, because healing is a byproduct of behaviors. Happy is a certain set of behaviors that is individual to each person.
Mm-hmm.
And by doing those specific individualized behaviors, you will get sustained happiness, sustained health, sustained passion, sustained wisdom, which is what we're all searching for. And it gets to be simple because you're using and harnessing the power of your mind and focusing exactly what you need to do. All the extra noise fades away.
Mm-hmm. One of the most important things that I learned from you is that concept that the body follows the mind.
Yes.
I probably knew that somewhere in myself, but I hadn't really acknowledged that as being more than just a truism, that we really can think ourselves to wellness. And it's deeper than thinking.
It is knowing. And the one thing that hypnosis allows you to do is insert that so deep into the human psyche that it becomes ingrained in you. It becomes part of your aura, it becomes part of your being. Because that's what 10,000 times more focus does. And when you do the repetition and you're focusing over and over again only on what you want and what you need to do to go become healthier, to go become happier, to go become insert X, it becomes part of your being. It allows you to transform you in a healthy way because now you've actually changed your energetics, your aura, your vibrations, however you want to say that. You
And
become
that magnetizes all that you're looking for around you.
Yeah. And it becomes even simpler.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we take out the noise. We take out the list. I mean the list. Everything you don't want.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want this. I don't want that. And you're like, okay.
What's left?
What do you want? What's next? Like, you're telling me everything you don't want. What do you want?
Yeah.
And that has power in itself. And then we get to do the hypnosis piece. So your entire focus is only on what you want to go achieve success, whichever area. And your intention is that you're going to show up for yourself.
Yeah.
And it becomes very simple. Like, we take out the complications. It becomes very doable.
That's one thing I learned somewhere, probably in the middle of a nervous breakdown or something somewhere in my life, that I realized that I kept thinking I didn't trust other things. I didn't trust men. I didn't trust doctors. I didn't trust all these list of people I had trust issues with. And it finally dawned on me, the common denominator was me. I did not trust me to take care of my needs. I kept looking for somebody else to do that. But when you think about it, if we can't meet our own needs, certainly we have our best interests at heart. How on earth is there anyone else out there that is going to put my needs above any of their own?
And I would say it's unhealthy to expect them to do that. Because if you're expecting someone else to save you,
Yeah.
you become a liability.
Yeah.
And all the healers in the world, nurses, doctors, everyone who went into the healthcare profession or any of those forms, they always put themselves last and the needs of the others before them. Mm-hmm. And that is also a liability.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to put you before them, because that is unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
So a big part of this is knowing that, A, you don't need to be saved.
Yeah.
No one's going to come save you.
Yeah.
And you can do it. You just need to put your focus back on you first. And it comes back to the focus piece.
How long have you been doing this in practice, like the Bolen Institute?
So the Bolen Health Institute has been training for the last 3.5 years.
Okay.
I had opened more of like the one-on-one before I opened the Institute. So I was working with individualized clients before I actually opened the Health Institute up to different practitioners. I had a little come to Jesus moment where it was like, you need to go deal with groups and you need to get out of your comfort zone. So please open up the Institute and stop pretending to stay one-on-one. So I've been I've been practicing the hypnotherapy and the neurolinguistic programming and the timeline therapy. And the NLP.
Slow that down and say it again.
I will. So I have been practicing the hypnotherapy, the neurolinguistic programming, or NLP, the timeline therapy, which is a mix of shamanism, NLP, and hypnosis, and the NLP results coaching, which are just a big fancy way of saying the different boards for integrative mind-body medicine or integrative quantum medicine. They allow us to practice. Yeah. And probably for the last 5 years. Okay. And amazing results. I've never been able to go back.
You have a training coming up soon too, don't you?
I do. I have one actually starting tomorrow.
Oh, okay. I knew it was somewhere toward the beginning of June. So the other thing that you're going to be doing is coming to Power Up Nursing between the 22nd and the 24th. And you are not only going to be speaking, but you're also a sponsor. So I'm assuming that you're going to be out there answering people's questions through the entire length of the conference. And we will have opportunities to sit down in small groups and larger groups and just talk with people about, what works, what doesn't. I'm not sure who's got a ding going on, but I turned everything off, so I'm sure it's not me. So what's your hope for what you can accomplish through Power Up Nursing?
I like that you used the word hope. So my hope and my dream for being in the Power Up Nursing Conference is that all the nurses understand that they can affect the change they want to see in the healthcare system. And they're going to go about doing it in a different way. Yeah. They're going to go do what every elite healer in the entire world has always done. And they're going to be able to look at themselves in a mirror, say, I am worthy, I am powerful, and I am able to show up in a different way to make the changes I want to see. And it starts with me first. And that, if they can get that one piece.
That is such a beautiful concept. It's like taking all the shackles off. all the voices in our head, our parents, our neighbors, our teachers, our partners, I mean, all the different people who have been putting thoughts into our heads our entire life, and we have been listening to it, and then maybe even turned those voices into our own voice, saying the same things to us, and suddenly we can't figure out why we can't move.
And this will be the piece where you focus 100% on what you want and your own magnificence. And my entire hope for the entire conference is that you realize how magnificent you actually are, and you remember that as you step forward, moving outside of it.
So now you have just terrified half of nursing. The idea that we can focus on ourselves and, not be chastised, not be cut down, and that we actually might find something good. Somewhere along the line early in my Buddhist practice, somebody told me, go deep, you'll find a well. And I thought, yeah, and it's going to be dry. But I decided to trust that, and I kept going deeper and deeper. Only with you, there's a possibility of not doing that journey, or not having to solely do that journey alone, but have somebody that can help, I don't want to say redirect, because that's not really what you do, but how would you say it? That you're kind of on the journey, but you're not leading it.
I'm going to say you're going to rediscover you. Yeah. Because you came into this world full of magnificence, being innocent, being powerful, and being a force of nature. So throughout the years, you end up putting on layers of other people's thoughts, other people's ideas, and how to show up and what makes it right, and all of that. So this process is to allow you to get back to you. Get back to what you want, what you need, and to show up from the biggest heart-centered place, the most compassion you can.
Without destroying yourself.
No, actually,
we get compassion. We just don't get, it can't be all outward, going outward. There has to be compassion for ourselves.
And you can't skip that step. It will always, 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 always start with you. And any place you look to start outside did not last.
Yeah. It's an illusion.
It is. And until you do this work, nothing outside of you can actually change.
Yeah, that's great. Where would you like to take this? I know there's so many different directions that, if you're talking to a nurse. If you were talking to 150 nurses right here, right now, which we assume you are at least, and probably more, what could you say, or what would impel nurses who are like not quite sure power up nursing is something they feel safe going to? Power is a really strong word, and especially for nurses, we always are like, oh, no, you lead. So what would make it safe to come?
What's going to make it safe to come is that you are going to be with a bunch of like-minded individuals. Yeah. You are going to be at the right place at the right time with some amazing speakers who are here to guide. Yeah. With a team who've put up the Power Up Nursing, who has a greater vision than you even know. So your job is to muster up some of the courage to take that leap. And I promise you, when you take a leap of faith, you are supported throughout the entire process. So knowing that by taking that one step, that you're entering into an entire arena of people who are there to support you and grow with you, who are like-minded.
Yes. That's the hard part. So many times when people are struggling with their work, it's because the people they're working with don't understand, or they think they don't understand, because they never talk about it, of course. And so what a unique thing to find out as you talk to somebody, hey, I'm going to Power Up Nursing. And somebody else going, I've been looking at that ad too, and I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
Suddenly you have a comrade.
And as soon as you've seen it, it's in your awareness for a reason. You magnetized it.
Mm-hmm.
It came into your awareness because it's meant for you.
Yeah.
So follow it. And I promise you'll find me at the entire conference. And you need, and you're that nervous piece, come and talk to me. I'll have a conversation with you. We'll sit down. I'll get you a tea. No
She's
need
not
to.
even scary. She's just really like a really great friend.
Yeah.
Just like you see now. It's just somebody you want to go up to and say, I just feel like I need to talk to you.
And please do. If you have that feeling, come find me.
Yeah.
I will 100% grab you a tea. We'll sit down and we'll just have a chat.
Sounds excellent. One of the things that we've been really encouraging people lately, especially, is to bring a friend. If that is a scary move for somebody to, maybe for some people, this might be the first nursing conference they've ever gone to, or they've gone to nursing conferences in the past and it's like death by PowerPoint. And, maybe not so much touching your heart, or, it's all in the head. It's all like tasks or procedures, or, learning new types of healthcare, whatever, mechanics. And I don't know about anybody else, but I start to get sleepy within an hour of getting to those conferences. And this is definitely not going to be that, because everything will start with those people who are in front of us.
And I do want to remind everyone that in your nervous system, nervous and excited are the same neurological pathway. So you may think you feel terrified, and you actually may be feeling a lot of excitement. So take that, that feeling, okay, with it, and bring a friend. If that's going to help you guys both show up and feel more comfortable and go and network, go do it.
Yeah.
So know that it's excitement, not necessarily terrified. It's excitement.
Yeah. What if I'm somebody who does put everybody else first? So my family comes first, my parents, my siblings, my neighborhood, my church, my everything. And you're asking me to take 3 days out of my life away from everybody else and just think about me? That's really terrifying.
I am asking you to do that. And I'm asking you to do that for your family. I'm asking you to do that for your friends. I'm asking you to do that for your job. Because you can only give so much before you have nothing left to give. So until you learn how to give to yourself first, you cannot give anymore. So I'm telling you to go take this trip for you. To come back so you can share some of the wisdoms. You have more connections. You have more friends all across the country, and probably some from Canada.
And that is the amazing thing. One of the things that this podcast, Doing Once a Nurse, has been for me is that I've been able to talk to people all around the world. And the realization that we are way more alike than we are different. And especially with nurses, I was shocked to realize that the problems that we have in nursing and in healthcare in general in the United States is everywhere. It is prevalent all around. It's like we are at a moment in time that here's the opportunity. And as many of us who can get the concept and be able to take those steps, that changes just us. That's all we have to change. It's just us. And then we impact and influence people around us. That's a really hard thing for me as a single individual person to say, I could have an impact on how healthcare goes in the future.
For sure. You, as an individual in the system, will make a greater impact than anyone outside of it. You can show up for you and show up in that authentic place and set a cool boundary. Hey, I don't feel comfortable doing that. I appreciate that. And I don't feel comfortable doing that. And you'll notice the ripple effect. You'll touch a patient's life. You'll touch another nurse's life going, oh my God, you can do that.
Yes.
Then they do that. And then the doctors and the other forms, the healthcare admin staff start noticing the differences. It doesn't have to be a monumental effort to create a massive impact. It just has to be something.
Do you have an experience like that you could share where you found just standing up yourself made a big change in the people around you?
I do. And it was at one of the interdisciplinary clinics I started in. And I went through my own healing journey before I got the tools. So I already knew how to set boundaries in a safe and healthy way. And it was with an actual patient who had a lot of multiple concussions. Mm. And it was with a 6'4" male. I'm 5'2". So there's some differences there. And I learned to set a boundary about just the physical presence and the difference. And then what happened was that the other chiropractor was there and was like, oh my God, you can do that. And the patient was receptive. Yeah. So the patient was like, oh, thank you for telling me. Like, I'm sitting there in the back of my head going, oh my God, I'm going to lose a patient. Oh, this isn't going to happen. But I did it. And I did it anyways. And the patient went, oh my God, thank you for telling me. I went, you're welcome.
Secret. It's like nobody realizes that the secret is out there and everybody can grab it.
Yeah. And then this chiropractor saw it and went, oh, I'm going to do the same thing. And the patient went, how did you do that so gracefully? So I told him. And then he did that with his wife. And like, it just grew. And it was something that I was nervous in the beginning to do. Mm-hmm. And yet it was almost instant to see that cool ripple effect. And it wasn't huge.
Okay. So what did the chiropractor say to you afterward?
She came and goes, that was amazing. You handled that very well. Can you teach me?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just that simple. Yeah.
If it's hard and it's complicated, it doesn't work. Yeah. Simple from the heart always will.
Yes. And people get the difference. You can say things so beautifully and smoothly and eloquently and all of that. And it's just when you start to really look somebody in the eyes and you're talking from your heart and your knees are shaking and you're trying to pull those words together all at the same time. But no, it isn't like you have to be a genius. This just is whoever you are in and of yourself is enough.
And then it's testing that.
Yeah.
So you're never going to know that unless you go out and do that.
Yeah.
So I was nervous. I did it anyways. And it worked.
I'm wondering, with your presentation, will there be any kind of an opportunity for somebody to experience it? I don't know. Will you do any hypnosis? What are you planning?
So in one of the chats, so the longer keynote where I have more time, we are going to go into some group hypnosis.
Okay.
I'm going to put the full audience under, since I can as a trainer. And you guys are going to experience it. And you're going to have some beautiful, beautiful awarenesses about self and being supported as you move forward on your journey post this conference. This conference is going to be one where you get to level up in a whole different way than you expected.
So this is not something that you have to be kind of a woo-woo-woo kind of person, but it is actually something that anybody can learn. And so they can take something from what they're getting from you in the conference, and they can take that with them and use it, correct?
They will always have what the hypnotic session did with them 100% moving forward. And if they want to learn more about being able to do it more for themselves, that's when you come find me. You come to the booth and we'll have a different conversation. But there is a gift in every hypnotic session I ever do that will go with you for the rest of your life.
Okay. That's very cool. That's also something, if somebody is thinking, okay, I've had it with the bedside, I've had it with, whatever I've been doing, it just feels like it's pulling me down and down and down. And it certainly is not reaching anything that seems like my heart, my soul, anything that really I want to relate to. Not necessarily this. I mean, people can go, think, oh, this sounds like something that would be perfect for me. But a lot of what it can do is open us up to what are the options. When I was in nursing, I can remember for years thinking, I need to get out of this. I cannot keep doing this the rest of my life. And then I would say, but what else can I do? I'm just a nurse. And at that time, I think I was still just an RN. I had a diploma, but I hadn't got my BSN yet. And so what nurses do not get, and that's the whole thing, 3 years ago, why we decided, Tanya and I and Dr. Elba Rodriguez decided we wanted to do this Power Up Nursing, because nurses do not get what their power is. It's phenomenal. And we just totally blow it off. And probably because other people either blow it off or don't know what our power is until they're a patient and they're experiencing it and feeling like that's the person that they think back on. I've had people stop me in the grocery store. I had somebody stop me when I was going to vote, and she made me come out to her van to meet her children. I was an OB, labor and delivery nurse, and she wanted her children, who I had helped deliver, to meet me. And of course, they were like, oh, Mom, what could you be thinking of? I just kind of went along. But that person in that patient's life can make phenomenal changes we have no idea we're making.
For sure.
But we do that consciously, right?
Even a single word, that single gesture of where you go in there and someone's freaking out and you go, it's okay, just breathe. You will make a bigger impact than you ever know. And I'm a big fan of nurses being the heart and soul of every healthcare industry. You got to think nurses are in every different branch of medicine.
Yes.
They're even in solo practice. Like, nurses are everywhere. Nurses in complete numbers. You guys have the ability to change every single area in healthcare just by being present.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are the heart and soul. And when you guys start showing up, and you guys start realizing that one comment, that one, hey, take a breath with me, or even getting them that extra serving of pudding, I don't care what it is.
Starving at 3 a.m.
Right? Makes a massive that little act of kindness makes a massive difference, and you will never know the impact you're going to have.
That's right.
The idea isn't to go in to make a massive impact. The idea is to go in and be human and be authentic and show up in a loving way. And that the impact will naturally follow. Mm-hmm. But it's being able to do that.
It is really hard to believe what you're saying, Liz, when or if you have not done that up to now. So I'm here to tell you that it does work. And this is a lady that you can really work with and really not feel like, okay, I'm going to have her on my computer every day of my life, all day long, to be able to do this and go forward. No, that's the thing that I find most amazing about you, Dr. Liz, is that you implant. Well, you're not really implanting anything because it's already there. You're bringing out, you're stabilizing that magnificence. That's the word you use, right? Yep. Magnificence. You just help people to honor their own magnificence and use it every day. Just practice using it. So,
and it's the right tools. So when you have the right tools, you get to go do it. My job is not for you to rely on me. My job is for you to rely on you.
And you do an amazing job of that. You really do. It's really wonderful to be in company with you. And for me, sometimes I have to, hear it a number of times. But you're very patient, and you hold a space of honoring that person really does have it inside them. I think we're going to close here. Is there something you would like to say? Is there anything that you'd really like to share, with this group of people, and just to encourage them to come?
Again, you're worth it. Stop the noise. Stop the story. If you're interested and you feel that nervous excitement, take that as your body's indication that this is for you. Take the leap. Grab a friend if that makes you feel better. And come and find a familiar face once you're there. If it needs to be me, let it be me. If it's going to be Leanne, let it be, whoever it is. Just make sure that you know that you're worth it, and that this is actually something that is worth investing in. Because you're worth investment.
I just heard you say nervous excitement. Is that?
I did say nervous excitement.
I love that. Did you coin it?
I have not coined it.
Oh, you need to coin it. You need to trademark it or something like that. Because that is a wonderful word.
Yes.
That just puts it all together. Yes. Liz, I am so happy to be able to spend this time with you now, but I'm really looking forward to being able to be in your company from the 22nd to the 24th. It's going to be wonderful.
I'm really excited to be there, and I'm excited to see you guys in person so I can give you guys a hug.
Yes, hugs are the best. I do a lot of hugging, so anybody who would like some hugs, I may even put a sign on my chest that says, ask me for a hug.
That's awesome.
So we're going to stop here. I had a wonderful poem I was going to share with you, and wouldn't you know, I managed to leave it somewhere else, and I'm not going to go get it. So I just want to thank you again for coming here today, and for coming June 22nd to the 24th in Orlando. And if you would like to do even like a 2-minute little clip of why you are excited to be going to Orlando, and what might bring other people, we're going to use those little 2-minute clips here and there as we get closer. And right now it's the perfect time for people to register. And so we're just going to leave it with that. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I would hug you now if I could, but I can't. So
Soon I get an actual hug.
Okay. Sounds great. Thank you. And thank everyone for joining us here for Once a Nurse, the original.